Foreign Minister has this weekend called on the West to heal its rift with Islam. Bob Carr says recent events in Afghanistan are troubling signs about the growing divide between the two cultures.
Our next three guests have had feet at one time or another in both camps. They grew up in Christian, or at least nominally Christian households, but as adults they decided to convert to Islam. So what prompted the switch? Susan Carland is a lecturer at Monash University in Melbourne. David Stanley is an electrician from Sydney, and Stacey Mohammed is a 25-year-old mum from Brisbane. Good morning to you all, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Susan, if I can start with you, what prompted your decision to convert to Islam?
I think I was a teenager when I became Muslim, and I think it was when I was a teenager I started just to have big questions about life, the universe and everything, and I started to explore lots of different answers to those questions, and much to my surprise Islam seemed to be the one that continually came back to me with the answers that made the most sense to me. So eventually, yeah, when I was 19 I decided to convert.
You say you were nominally Christian beforehand. Was your faith always a strong part of your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew that I always believed in God, and I was raised in a household where we did go to church and those sort of things. And so it was always a very big part of my life and always a very positive part of my life. But I think when I was in my teens, I just started to wonder if I believed what I did because I thought it was true, or if it's just what I'd been raised to believe, and that's what sort of prompted the outward exploration, I guess.
Okay, this is really interesting. David, describe your life before you converted to Islam.
Typical young Aussie guy. Used to go out and, drink, smoke, have fun, just do crazy things. Also, I used to be quite a racist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I didn't like Muslims at all.
What did you know about Muslims before you became
what I thought I knew about Muslims? Okay, so firstly, what I thought of Islam is I actually thought Islam was a place, and Muslims came from this place, and they hated everyone, and whoever wasn't a Muslim, I thought they wanted to convert them, and that was it.
They're all from Islamabad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What was the thing that made you go, this thing that I don't know anything about,
well,
I now want to join up to?
I very quickly, within the first minute of a conversation, I very quickly realised that my perception of Muslims and Islam was completely wrong, and straight away I started questioning myself and who I was and who I thought I was, and they were two completely different people. And
so looking at you now, I mean, most people have a vision in their heads of what a Muslim man in Australia looks like, and it doesn't look like you. How has your life changed since you converted?
More on a personal level, physically, like looking after myself a bit better, not drinking, not smoking, which I really wanted to fix up quite some time prior to that, but I just needed that initial kick. And just being a better person, not judging people the way I used to and denied that I did. Just more look at myself and fix myself instead of worry about what's happening out there.
So more thoughtful about your own life.
Yeah, which then cascades throughout to other people that you interact
just
with.
Before we need to bring Stacey in as well, but I just really want to say, what was it other religions do you think are not as introspective? There's obviously not as much focus on health, but they don't force you to be a better person?
No, totally not. It just wasn't working for me.
Yeah,
like, I tried, other things, and in my heart it just wasn't sitting right, I'm not saying anything wrong about them, just for me it didn't work.
So Stacey, you also had what many would describe as a typically Australian upbringing. Can you tell us about that, and also about how your family reacted, I suppose, when you told them you were planning on converting to Islam?
Yeah, my family, they're very supportive. I grew up in a very small country town in northern New South Wales. I had a great upbringing. I had a loving family. I'd say I was probably agnostic. So I didn't really tell them about my journey because it was really inner journey rather than, telling everyone about what I was thinking about doing. And I started about 2008, so when I told them in 2010, they already had sensed that there was some changes within, so they handled it really good. And I would say that we're probably closer now that I'm a Muslim than before.
Very interesting.
Stacey, when you hear about a terrorist attack that is carried out in the name of Allah, how does that resonate with you, and how far removed is that sort of behaviour from your actual religion?
I feel sad, because I would feel sad if any innocent person died overseas or here. Doesn't matter what religion, any innocent person's death is quite sad. But I also feel sad because my religion is misrepresented, and I know in myself what Islam is, but you can't really show that on a 30-second news clip every night. So it's quite complex. And I feel like quite sad because I'm going to be representing Islam, and people are going to look at me like I'm linked to terrorism. So that's not how I want my life to be and how I want my son's life to be when he grows up. So it's quite sad.
It's interesting, isn't it? You know, the media and in fact the public, I think, concentrate on the excesses of a particular group of Muslims, regards to the treatment of women, for example, regards to you know, terrorist activity. But we don't look at the Irish, for example, who blew each other up for, you know, 100 years and say, oh, it's because they're Christians, they're all terrorists. You know, we don't look at people in the deep south of America who have a very strict attitude towards the place of women in their house and feel fearful of them because of the way they treat their women, you know.
I guess it's one of those things. It's about education, isn't it?
Totally.
Islam did become, you know, post September 11, a religion that was not really known about and therefore feared. And
then all of a sudden it's, oh wow, it's all this killing because of Islam, and so of course it's going to instill the fear into normal everyday people. I mean,
you know, I think it's a discussion definitely worth having, and we'll have to have it some other time because we're out of time right now. But